start off.
Zac, you were out of the team for a while and then came back for St. Louis and got a clean sheet. How much confidence does that performance against St. Louis give you coming into the game tomorrow?
I would say that they're a different team than when we played them back then. Obviously, they have some additions, some subtractions, and they're coming off, a good win at home. That's not an easy place to play. It's going to be a difficult game. We know they like to run. We know they like to press, and 50-50 balls are going to be a big step in it, and it's just going to be a defensive effort from the entire team to get a clean sheet.
Zac, just how are you guys feeling as a group now? It's been a month of kind of people coming in and coming out, leagues play, MLS. Just like what's kind of the vibe of this group now, especially with some of the additions that you guys have had?
Yeah, I think we have a really good group. I think a bunch of, like I said about St. Louis, additions, subtractions in the beginning of the year, and you're kind of starting to see like our team bond more, our team gel more, even with the new additions of Finn and some others, Mason, they just hopped right in the group. We're a welcoming group overall, and they're going to help us. Mason scored last game. He's already helping us on the field, and Finn's getting back from the Olympics, and he's going to help us as well.
Mason last game talked about he had been traded before, but he'd never had it happen mid-season, and just how different that was for him. On the other end of that, as in the locker room, how do you guys receive somebody who's just kind of had their whole kind of season uprooted like that?
Yeah, first and foremost, Mason has played with guys on the team. He's played at Montreal, came from Montreal, so he's familiar with James, Kamal. Played U20s or some youth national team with Eric Williamson way back then. So it's just more so trying to get them acclimated as soon as possible, help them, choose places where to live, where teammates live, areas to stay away from, areas that are hot to, stay in. But yeah, we're a welcoming group.
Coach, Anthony went off with an injury in the last game. He trained in full today. Is there any sort of minutes restriction on him for this upcoming game?
No, he's good to go. He came back training yesterday. Was a little bit sore still yesterday, but trained probably pain-free for the first time since the Colorado game. So he's good to go fully. We've got a fully fit squad for the first time. Marvin Larrea's playing for T2 tonight. He needs 90 minutes football for him to be considered as a starter. I think if there was in terms of minutes, he's probably only ready for 30 minutes at our level. So he wanted to play for the T2 tonight to then get over the final hurdle. So we're pretty good in terms of our strength of depth. And Finn will be travelling with us as well to St. Louis.
Phil, both you and Zac have mentioned how St. Louis have new players. They, of course, have a new coach as well. And how do you kind of prepare for a different coach, and how is St. Louis's play style different to when Timber fans saw them in early June?
Well, obviously it's a new coach, it's an interim coach, and when you're an interim coach, you're almost auditioning for the job, and I'm sure that John, who's a fantastic coach with great experience, every game will matter. So they've invested, they probably needed to invest to change their season around. They've had a disappointing season, and they've brought quality players in. So, like Zac said, it's a different team that we're playing against, with different types of style, different types of players, different types of profile of players. And it'll be totally different than the game that we played, maybe, 8 weeks ago. So we're ready for it. It's a cup competition. We want to progress. The brackets are now becoming even more clearer with every result that happens. And it's a competition we want to progress in, do well in, and challenge.
Paul,
did you have any questions?
No.
It was just about this time a year ago that this club decided that it was going to change directions, and it moved on from the former manager. And I'm just curious, in that year that's happened since. Obviously, you've been here for about 9 months of that. But what do you think has been the toughest challenge for you to get the club to where you're at now, and what do you think is still the next step for you guys?
Well, I think first and foremost we've got so much more work to do. I think we're nowhere near where we want to be, but I think when change happens, there's always a transitional period, and if you think about the players that have left over the last, probably since Gio left, there's a lot of experience left this dressing room. There's a lot of quality players left this dressing room with experience that have been used to winning at this football club. So change probably scares a few people, but the change needed to be made. We hadn't made the playoffs for the last 2 years. We had to freshen up the group. We had to build something a little bit fresher and new. And And what you're seeing now is you're seeing the likes of Zac and Santi and Mosquera now becoming leaders in the team, where before it was probably Esprilia, Blanco, Mabial. You know, that it's almost out with the old, in with the new now, and we've allowed these younger players to develop and become leaders. Start the season, I think me and Ned both said in our opening press conference, we want more leadership in the group. We want more characters in the group, and sometimes you can bring in characters, or sometimes you can develop characters. And I think what we're seeing now, we're seeing a team that's developing characters from within. Younger players developing more confidence and belief and personality, and we're going to need that to be successful this year. And like I say, we're nowhere near where we want to be, but there are signs and there is a smell in the air that good things are happening, and that I feel when you turn up at Providence Park now, there's a different vibe, there's a different energy, and that's what we wanted to bring.
Any last questions, Mary?
The team hasn't won any of their past 2 road matches, 2 losses, both by a score of 3-2. How important is getting off to a hot start and then being able to keep that energy for the second half?
Well, I think our strength at home is the fact that we've been keeping clean sheets, and if you concede 3 goals away from home, you're not going to win any game of football. I think there was only Kansas City away where we came back and drew 3-3. So, first and foremost, we need to be tighter on the road, and for us to get to the playoffs and be successful in the playoffs, if we get there, you can't concede three goals on the road. So you look back at the Galaxy game, and we got punished, 3 mistakes we got punished, and the game before that too. So I think having a mentality of clean sheet is a really important. And you know, Zac came in for the St. Louis game 8 weeks ago, and we kept a clean sheet. I think it was one of our first ones alongside Austin. That was the start of our building block and our foundation. Tomorrow we're going to have to keep a clean sheet for us to win the game, I'm sure of it, because we are winning games of football, we are scoring goals. We just need to keep away from home, show the same type of discipline and concentration.
Justin, we're done in the room. If you have any questions online.
At the moment, there are no
Good.
questions from Zoom, so if that's it.